I've always said if it wasn't for SANETER, I would not be doing Moorish World TV. But SANETER inspired me to do Moorish World TV. I examined and studied SANETER. Absolutely. I examined and studied SANETER. I've studied SANETER. Oh my goodness, y'all don't hear me.
Yeah, like I was saying to you, when we look at reality, what was we doing? Nothing.
Nothing.
The noon. Okay, in Egyptology, Atum formed from Nu, right? Noon was nothing, right? And Atum made himself from noon, which would be the proton. The proton in an atom, which would be Atum, which is light, which is thought, which is consciousness, right? Came from the darkness of primordial waters of noon. This Atum, this thought, in the beginning was the thought and the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. The same in the beginning with God. All things were made by thought, and without thought, nothing was made that was made. Thought is the Atum in Egyptology. Atum made it himself. It wasn't a he or she, it was both genders. And then from there, it created reality, as you see. And you do this every day. When you go to sleep at night, you go into what? Nu.
The noon.
The noon. That's why we say nu in our culture. You go into darkness. When you go into that darkness, all of a sudden there's a dream. What is the light that lights up your dream? Atum, your mind. So nothing, something or dream or thoughts or reality came from that darkness you went to sleep in. You went to sleep into darkness, nothingness. And all of a sudden, reality and existence appeared. It is the same story of Nu and Atum. Your mind is giving you this reality or this dream right now. So when you're in your dreams, you would ask yourself, what is the light that lights up my reality in my dream? I was in darkness, my body back there, right? But how do I get another body? Is the body a figment of your imagination? Are you dreaming right now? Of course you are. Because your mind, which is the light, has never been separate of the darkness.
Now, come on now. You know the Armor Raw Squad is out there. Garfield is out there. And they will say, brother, if that's not the biggest pseudo stuff you have said, when you said, what are you doing right now? You dreaming right now. Your mind.
I just explained it to you. It gets no realer than you going to sleep at night. You going to sleep at night, going into darkness. I mean, I think we use pseudo too much. You know what I'm saying? I think that's a dismissive thing now, where people just say it to hurt people's feelings and dismiss what they're saying.
No, I wasn't trying to.
Not you. I didn't say you did. Yeah. I think that's a hurtful thing to say and a dismissive thing to say, and it's a quick way to make somebody's knowledge seem like it's nothing and listen to mine. And we could always just say, oh, that's pseudo. Listen, you cannot debunk the fact that you go to sleep every night. Facts. You cannot debunk the story that's written about Nu and Atum. We cannot debunk John 1:1 in the Bible when it says, in the beginning was the word, which is thought, and the thought was with God, and the thought was God. So you are God, because you are thought. The same in the beginning with God, all things were made by thought, and without thought nothing was made that was made. So as a man thinketh, so he is. So you are thinking.
But don't you agree that man created God? Man, and when you look at the word God, where does God come from?
Okay.
See, I think just like you say, hold on. Just like we say, but just like we talk about the word pseudo, we use pseudo too much. I think we as melanated people, African people, whatever you call it, I think we use God too much because we spook God out. We make God to be this superpower natural being when we really know, when the Europeans know that God is not really real. That's just a made up word to put on there to make it look like this supernatural creature.
Okay, so it's two meanings.
I want to introduce this. I want to introduce this brother when you finish, because I know he gonna go in on what I said.
Yeah, right.
I was waiting.
You should take off the jacket so they could just see the mathematical.
I was waiting. Yeah,
hold on. I'm gonna say this before you get in.
Yeah, and I want you to introduce yourself and then go in. Go ahead, because this brother here, he's with our brother, man. You know, Gabriel Oyibo. So I already know he powerful.
Right.
And as well, you too.
It's true. So go ahead, brother. Two meanings of God that we use, and we need to separate the two meanings.
Okay.
We say God, but we don't break down that we talking about God as Allah, as the infinite oneness of everything, right? The omnipotent one, and we say God as good separated from the devil, which is bad. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So there's a God that is good and evil. It's all things, right? We say God subjectively. And you have to understand what people are saying when they say God, because like, which God are you talking about? You talking about the all God that's good and bad, which is everything? Or are you talking about the God that's good, separate of the devil? See, it's two gods when people say God, SANETER. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah, keep talking. So when we look at how people use God, we have to differentiate what they're trying to say. They could be saying, yo, God, oh, you not God, you Satan. They could be saying, you're not good. You're not good. You're bad.
That's what we do. We hip hop culture. That's what we do. We dynamic that way.
And then we could say God in the sense of we praying to God. We think of God as the all, as everything. So God is good and evil because there is no evil without God. God created all things, or God is the creator, right, of all things, or God is all things. Absolutely. So therefore, there's two meanings of God. But I wanted to get back, just real quick, and I'm gonna give it to him, to what I was saying about reality and how we are thought. God is thought. In the beginning was the thought, and John 1:1 it says this. In the beginning was the thought, and the thought was with God, and the thought was God. So God is thought. You are God. You thinking, right?
Yes, sir.
Then God is thinking. In the Bible, when God said he put Adam to sleep and he made him from the clay of the earth, he said he breathed what?
Breath of life. The
breath of life into him. So when God breathed the breath of life into Adam, God descended as man.
So if you're going to say you're God, then you are also the devil at the same time.
Absolutely. We are God. We are God because God has breathed the breath of life and God is us. We're not separate of it. When he said he breathed the breath of life into Adam, he descended. If I breathe my breath into you, it says that God made man as an avatar, the avatar of man from the earth and the clay, the dust of the earth. Then God said he breathed his breath of life into man. At that point, God descended because God made man to experience his own creation, its own creation. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, sir?
I'm listening. And do you think the Hebrew Israelites will agree with you? And if so, or if not, do you think they really understand the Bible? Because they will not agree with you, brother.
Okay, and they don't have to, because remember we said about the people that don't agree with them, but they're seeing life from a certain perspective, and they have every right to believe what they believe. They exist because they need to exist for a certain reason. Everybody can't be the truth. Somebody has to be the lie, right? Somebody has to have a percentage or a degree of the truth. And we are the Most High. CarbonNation is the Most High. I am the Messiah. I've come to give you complete truth. God is man. Man is God. Man is God. You can't separate man from God. We all breathing the breath of God. We are God. There's no separating us from it. God descended into man. God created the avatar of man so that it can experience its own creation, right? So if you say God created the heavens, the earth, and all of this stuff, not that there's a creation, because I just explained to you what thought was. If God created it, then why wouldn't God want to experience it? God experiences its creation through what? Through the avatar of the human being. So through the human being, God can walk through his creation and see his creation and destroy it and build it and do whatever it wants. And when I say God, I'm talking about the Most High. You understand what I'm saying to you? So when he breathed the breath, when it breathed the breath into it, it descended into man. And so man has created the image of God. God is just man. There is nothing outside of that. There ain't no invisible, nothing is visible. Everything you see, that's why we call each other God. We say, peace, God.
Peace, God.
You know, so with that being stated, you are the observer and you are God. And without you, reality cannot exist. Without you waking up, feeling, smelling, tasting through your senses, through quantum physics, it clearly shows, this is not pseudo, quantum physics clearly shows the observer's effect. That when we're not observing the particle, the electron, it turns into a what? It turns to a wave of possibility, into nothingness. When we are observing it, it becomes matter. So through our observation, life exists. So therefore, we are God because God is a thought, and we are thinking what we're thinking, and through thought, life exists. So each and every one of us are parallel universes of each other. I'm talking to myself, talking to you, and you're me and I am you, and she is me and I am her. And we are parallel universes of different perspectives of one thing.
Okay, let me move on over to the brother. Can you please introduce yourself, my man?
I'm the immortal FYI Gagutian on Instagram. And I'm a firm believer and follower of the teachings of CarbonNation. I'm also a mathematician. I study GAGUT, the God Almighty's Grand Unified Theorem. And it's one of the things that connected me to CarbonNation when I tapped in and I could hear what he was saying and I understood the math. That's the problem, I think, that is going on with a lot of the people you mentioned, the Hebrew Israelites and a lot of the Christians. They don't understand the math of what they're doing, you know. And you brought up the waters of none, and you brought up the Bible. And it's crazy that you're having a debate coming up talking about was the Bible stolen from ancient Africa. The water of none, this is a story of cosmology of ancient Africa. What existed before existence actually existed. That's quantum physics right there. That's the past, present, and the future. So this is our heritage to actually have this knowledge, and we're bringing that back to the youth right now. CarbonNation is in tune with the youth. A lot of these people who are stuck in these boxes called religion, they're not going to be able to make it. They're going to keep reincarnating. They're going to keep hitting their head on the wall because they don't understand it outside of the translation that we've been given from our slave master, from inheriting these epigenetic traits that have been handed down. Oh, your mom did it, so now you do it. Oh, grandmom did it, so now you do it. You know, and with the mathematics, we can actually solve all of this. GAGUT, God Almighty's Grand Unified Theorem, G-I-J, comma, J equals 0. He articulated it without even getting into the mathematics. He just gave it to you. You know, the primordial source which everything comes from is the G. The intelligence, the thought is the I. The J, which is nature.
What do you say? What is your understanding of what I was talking about as far as the existence of God, that God is not real, that God really don't exist, that's a man-made word, that we all put that in motion. We are the ones that put the power behind the word God. We gave it this power. What is your take on that?
Yeah. Well, I know you know a lot about this topic because I tune into you and I hear you, and your name is Netter. Your name is SANETER. You know, Netter is nature. So we understood that expression, what we call nature, is the nature, which is God. And we are a part of nature. We've been disconnected from nature. This is our problem, why we don't understand who we really are, because we've been disconnected. We've been starved intellectually. We know through GAGUT, through our Gagutical Constitution, if you would just Google Yale investigates, let me unpack that a little bit.
Go ahead.
So the Professor Gabriel Yibo came up with GAGUT in 1990. It's the unification of all mathematics. What they were trying to do was understand mathematically everything. They wanted a formula that would explain everything. The astral realm, the physical realm, and the quantum physics realm. So what they did was all of these great European scientists tried to find it. Isaac Newton, Galileo Galilei, Albert Einstein, Carl Friedrich Gauss, Leonard Euler. Like, I can keep going on. None of these European minds can find it, but Gabriel Oyibo found it in 1990. And when he did that, it shook up the science community because we attribute genius, to the Europeans. It's just what they've maintained the stronghold on us, that we see them and we think that they're intelligent, more intelligent than us. But when he did that, that showed the intelligence of melanin dominant people. That showed the ability of black people. That showed our ability. We share DNA with him. So the same way he was able to receive that information is the same way the Honorable Prophet Elijah the Christ has been able to receive that information. By keeping healthy DNA, by cultivating healthy DNA, by moving closer to our source, which is between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, which we came from, which all life came from.
Now, did I just hear you refer to the chief over here as the Honorable Prophet?
Absolutely.
Is this a cult? Is this becoming a cult?
When you live the way we live, when you live as separate to the source as we live, so far away from the truth that truth speakers become a cult, that nature becomes a cult, then you know you in hell. When truth speakers that represent nectar, true nature, you call that a cult, then what does that make you? Yes, we are a cult. We are a culture called nectar, nature, the planet. Yes, your body is a culture. Every cell in your body is a culture.
I knew you was going to go there. That's why I said, no, you tell me.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what do you call the cells in your body that live against that culture, that nature? What do you call the cells in your body that decide to do their own thing and start going and building colonies and building their own stuff in your body? Don't you call that cancer or a virus? So if cells in your body does not, and then inside that culture or that virus, they call the immune system cells a cult. That's how infested the planet is. That the real becomes fake or bad, and the bad becomes good. This is how you know we at the end of age. If the cells in your body start to go against the equilibrium or the nature of your body or the culture of your body or the way of your body, what do we call that? We call that a virus. We call that sickness. We call that cancer. We call that HIV. We call that herpes. We call that all these things. We call that, right? But if you're within the perspective of the virus and you're in the infection, say if you are one of the viruses and you see an immune system cell, something that is in tune with the body, what are you going to say to that? Oh, they're cold. Look at those cells over there. Because all you ever knew was a virus. You always been a virus. That's all you ever been. You was born a virus, raised a virus. All you eat, sleep, shit, a virus. Excuse my language. You eat, sleep, and everything you do is a virus. So when you see real, you hear real, you demonize it because that's all that you are. That's a cult. That's a cult. Anything that's outside of the norm, oh, that's a cult. That's a cult. Yes, we are a culture called nectar, nature, God's people, indigenous people. We have the mind of that. And that is the only thing that will survive in the end.
Okay.
That's a big fact.
Let me come back on. Finish adding on, my brother.
Yeah, that's a big fact. And just like I was saying, he found a way, and to this day, I don't know how he did this. Like he tell you how he did it. He plugged right in, to the mainframe. He plugged right in, and we have that ability, us melanin dominant people, because of our DNA. I understand this through our Gagutical constitution. Just like I was saying, if you were to Google Yale investigates GAGUT in 1997, you would get this document. that was part of an investigation done by the White House and Yale University School of Science in 1997. That's Yale Investigates GAGUT in 1997. And with this information, they had a nuclear DNA polymorphism ascertainment study. And what they did was they went around the planet and they tested the DNA of all groups of people on the planet. And you know what they found? They found that black people, melanin dominant people, have the most intelligent DNA. They call them polymorphisms. We have the most intelligent DNA. It's called polymorph. We have in between 28 and 30 polymorphisms. Europeans, Asians, all of those other groups have only 18 to 19 max. Keep in mind, a chimpanzee has 15, but they want to call you a monkey. This is why when we see things like this coronavirus and all of this stuff, that can't faze us. First of all, we know that our intelligence is in our DNA. Our defense is in our DNA. We have the most intelligent DNA. So applying that, now, why are we dying at the rate that we're dying? We shouldn't even be dying at the rate that Europeans and Asians die at. We should not. The issue is we think as them as the leaders. When we are the leaders, we are the teachers, we have the most intelligent DNA. So that's what we're doing. We're taking back that role as the leaders, as the teachers, and we're breaking down dynamic sciences that you wouldn't even think about on your average day to day. But when you tune into CarbonNation, guess what we're doing? We're challenging your intelligence. We're challenging you to push your intelligence. You see? So knowing that information, and when you pull up that study, Google Yale Investigates GAGUT in 1997.
And GAGUT is spelled?
GAGUT in 1997. And you will see this document. When this came out, it was so dynamic. It went against what mainstream science was.
Tell them what GAGUT is like. Tell them what this is, though.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that. I just want to give them an overlay. Yeah. So when they got actually the information and it compromised, it went totally compromised what the hypothesis was, because they think black people are not intelligent like that. You know, we can't be the most intelligent. There's no way it could be. Once it came out that we were, they put a lid on it. And this came through the White House in 97 under the Clinton administration. And you got black people out here right now trying to vote for a damn elected official or somebody. They know this information and they suppressed it. This information is not in your school. It's not in your hospital. Your doctor will not tell you this. The only one, Professor Oyibo put this online for us to find it. Yale didn't put it online. They don't have it. He put it online because he was a part of the study. Now, we've taken the position as reclaiming our rightful position on earth as the leaders, the defenders. We are here to bring this information to the people who can hear, because some people can't even hear. Like you talk to them Hebrew Israelites, people are not interested in things like quantum physics, you know, and this is our heritage. This is something that we gave to the earth. Yes. We found this is our heritage. You know, they traded us, they traded our Malcolm and Martin and gave us Tommy and Martin.
Do you think that the Hebrew Israelites are nothing more than just Christians, because they doing the same thing? They waiting on Jesus to come back, a physical man. Right. Jesus Christ to come back.
Here we are. Yeah. I'm right here. I'm right here, and they still didn't notice. And in their own Bible, it says that in John chapter 1, it says he came to his own people, but his own company did not recognize him.
He came unto his own, and his own received him not.
Received him not.
The light shined onto the darkness, but the darkness comprehended it not. Right. So the light is talking about what y'all giving right now. You give.
So Christ consciousness. First of all, Christ is not. It's a consciousness. Here we go. The messenger awakens the consciousness. I am the messenger that was sent to awaken the Christ conscious and those that are elect. They are chosen, and this is the end of the age. And it says in the end of the age that the angels will come down and they will collect the good and throw away the rest into the lake of fire. So the Hebrew Israelites, I really don't like to talk about other people, man.
They might call you out for a debate now.
And we could. I would love.
I could get to Captain Tazoriak for you, brother.
He knows who I am.
Do you think the FBI got eyes on you Because just like Dr. York, and that's why I asked you, are y'all a cult? Because other people might consider y'all to be that. And just like Dr. York, just like, what's that other, Yahweh ben Yahweh? You know what I'm saying? Do you think the FBI have eyes on you, brother, and they watching you?
I think that the FBI wants the black men to rise. I think that the government...
You call yourself a messiah.
Yeah.
J. Edgar Hoover stopped the rise of a black messiah who can electrify and unify the masses of black people.
Right, but they have... It's not about black and white no more, brother.
It was a different time.
We are in the age of Aquarius. It is not about black and white no more. It's about consciousness. Mm-hmm. That's why we don't just take only black people. We have Asian, we have Indian, we have white, because we are living in a spiritual time right now where everything is metaphysical before it's physical. You can have a black devil standing right in front of you and a white person that's an angel. And if you are not spiritual inclined through the age of Aquarius, if you are not spiritually inclined, you are lost in the sauce. You are an agent. You are AI. It is about spirituality now. From 2012 to 2020 was your preparation and time and space for you to be elect and woke up and come into awareness. Now it's an application time. Now 2020 it's a time, it's 2020, it's time to get 2020 vision, because we are about to apply this knowledge that we've got since 2012. Since 2012 to 2020, we've been woken up to build and for the kingdom of heaven to come to the earth. The kingdom of, it says, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So the kingdom of God is here. The kingdom of heaven is here, and it will be built here on earth, and the devil will be locked away. And so the FBI can't even see us. Mm-hmm. The FBI doesn't have an eye to see us. We're hidden. Mm-hmm. We're hidden. The FBI can't watch us because the FBI doesn't have an eye to look at us. We're not on their radar.
And let me build on that.
The FBI.
Because that was a good question you asked, Sai, because, you know, we've been fueled with fear for so damn long. People are so scared of everything. But let me show you the parallels between what GAGUT is doing for us, what this information is doing for us, versus the parallels, and this is our intelligence.
You know, I interviewed Gabriel Oyibo.
Yeah, I talked to
him and Phil Valentine.
He told me, that was a long time ago.
That's right.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. You guys
see that? You don't know how far I go back, bro.
Oh yeah, I do. I was a little kid running around.
Okay,
you all know I seen you.
Oh,
as a little kid.
Okay.
So listen to these parallels, right? The Jewish community, European Jews, right? Mm-hmm. They went through their Holocaust, right? They were being shot down on the streets, thrown into jails. They weren't being allowed to go to Ivy League schools. They were barred from education, either undereducated or miseducated, either one, right? But when we think of a Jew now, if somebody say they have a Jewish doctor, what would you think? That's a good doctor.
Right.
Somebody say they got a Jewish lawyer, you think that's a good lawyer.
Right. And you know why I'm going to say you right real quick? I don't want to cut you. Because when I started going to Beth Israel was a Jewish hospital. And I was like, damn, I'm in one of the best hospitals. You know, because they're going to have the best doctors up in there.
Right. Watch
you
this,
see what I'm saying? But go ahead, go in.
So what happened to change them from being shot down on the street, forced to live in the ghettos, being undereducated or uneducated, to being at high society now? What happened to change that? Well, let's unpack it a little bit. So in 1929, they sent their shining star, Albert Einstein, to America, right next door from where we at, to Princeton, New Jersey, to build a school called the Institute for Advanced Study. All right? The Institute for Advanced Study. They raised $6 million for him to build that school. $6 million in 1929, a year into the Great Depression, a worldwide financial crisis. They put their money up to build this school. Now, just because they built that school, that didn't end their depression. That didn't end their situation, because Adolf Hitler was on the cover of Time magazine in 1938 as the man of the year, just like Donald Trump. The man of the year. So they might as well have been patting him on the back for kicking them Jews' ass the way he did. They might as well pat him on the back to put him on the cover of one of the most prestigious historical documentations in American history as the man of the year. So what happened to change it? It didn't change in 1938. Well, I'll tell you what, it was World War II. World War II kicked off. You know how many people died in World War II? Take a guess.
I'll say 25,000.
That's Chicago numbers, brother.
Oh, man.
In World War II, 75 to 85 million people died. Do you know what ended World War II? The president at the time, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, he heard about this school in New Jersey with this smart Jewish kid named Albert Einstein working on E=mc². And he went down there, took America's technology, combined it with that intelligence of E=mc², made the atomic bomb that they dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ending World War II and ending the Jewish Holocaust. Now, the parallel is we are the ones being shot down on the streets. We are the ones being undereducated. We're the ones packing up the jails and being forced to live in the ghettos. GAGUT completed Albert Einstein's work.
Facts.
With E=mc².
Already, yes.
E=mc² is just a fraction of the math that's inside of GAGUT.
Theorem.
It's a theorem, right? Mm-hmm. That's a big difference between a theory and a theorem. This is complete. So what they are attempting to do right now is steal this information. And he's still alive today, that's right.
In Africa.
They're attempting to steal this information from us so they can weaponize it just like they weaponize E=mc². And the difference with that is black people need to understand this information and we need to use it. We need to apply it to our lives, just like those European Jews applied it to their lives. That changed their whole situation.
What do you think we are wasting our time with when it comes to this information? Because a lot of our people don't know this science, this mathematics.
This is it.
Not at all.
Yeah.
This is it.
I agree.
Carbonation.
A lot of us,
this is it.
Yeah, a lot of us, see, we've been starved intellectually. You understand? And we, through our inherited epigenetics, you know, we're still dealing with pain.
Yeah.
You know, we're still dealing with pain.
We oppressed.
That's why when you brought up is the FBI watching him, you know, one of the most powerful things we can do is galvanize our people and wake our people up. That's why they killed Malcolm. That's why they killed Martin. They didn't kill them because they was mass producing some type of T-shirts and they was putting together mortgage packages and fixing people's credit. They didn't kill them for that. They killed them because they were galvanizing the people and waking the people up. When we actually recognize who we are.
I gotta disagree a little bit
When
on
we
that.
recognize who we are, we can be more powerful.
Nah, I gotta disagree.
On the time.
Huh?